What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hold the Phone podcast. I'm your host, Alex, joined today by my co-host, Ryan. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Just counting down the days till I get to watch the Bills play on Sunday. I think we're down to 13 days. I think we're 10 days away from actual football.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs and Texans playing on Thursday night next week.
Dude, that's
I
crazy.
can't wait.
It's next week. Like, I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
Man. That is amazing. I feel like it's been forever. I mean, it has been, but you think we're going to get – let's just real quick get this out of the way. You think they finish the season?
I think so. I mean, they had a shaky start in July with everyone going on the COVID list and a lot of people opting out. But, you know, I think they had like a 2-week streak where like no one was on the COVID list.
Yeah.
I think now we have about 4 people league-wide on the COVID list. But, like, for the most part, like, it seems like everyone's doing a good job, you know, carrying out the things they need to do to keep the season alive. So I think unless there's like a massive breakout, I think we're good for the whole season.
I think so too. I think they might end up if they do anything, I think that they'll probably switch it. They'll like take like 2 weeks off and try and make some sort of bubble. But yeah. I think they'll end up getting it all done. But it's been about a month since we last recorded, seeing how my computer had some technical difficulties, but we're back, baby. And a lot has happened in that month. But I guess we can start with the news that kind of broke this morning, if you want to jump into that.
Yeah, so the Jaguars are cleaning house over the last 48 hours. Yesterday they sent defensive end Yannick Ngakoue to the Minnesota Vikings for, I believe, a 2021 second round and fifth round pick.
It was if
I'm remembering correctly.
I think it's a 2022 fifth round pick, but 2021 second round, yeah.
Which is honestly huge because we all know that Yannick has been very, very vocal about how he does not want to be in Jacksonville anymore. I think I actually saw something where so the the Vikings actually immediately signed him to a 1-year, $17 million deal.
Oh, did they?
Which was a $6 million pay cut from what he would have earned on the franchise tag from the Jags. So he actually took a $6 million pay cut just to not play in Jacksonville. That's how badly he didn't want to be there. But I love this move for the Vikings because they didn't give up a whole lot. The fact that they held on to their first is huge. Yeah. But they also plugged in a younger guy at Everson Griffin's spot.
Yep.
So I like it. How do you feel?
I love it. That defense is going to be nasty. I think their only problem is their offense, obviously. Mostly that offensive line and if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy. But this is a huge addition to that defense. I mean, that pass rush is going to be nasty.
Yeah.
Especially in that division where, I mean, who has the best offensive line? Maybe
Green Bay?
Maybe Green Bay with Bakhtiari and whoever their other tackle is. But, like, still, those guys are going to eat. Do they still have Linval Joseph?
No, he's with the Chargers now.
Okay. But still, I mean, it's a huge addition. And like you said, they didn't give up a first. So, I mean, you gave up a second rounder. And I think Yannick Ngakoue is only like 24 or 25.
Yeah, he's really young.
Pretty young. So, if he balls out this season and they can re-sign him to like a 4 or 5 year deal, I mean, that's huge for that entire team.
Yeah. Well, adding on to that, today the Jags stayed in the headlines by waiving 2017 first-round pick Leonard Fournette. You know, Fournette's still a very young, talented running back, so this was kind of a surprise. We knew they were trying to trade him, but apparently there were no trade partners. So how do you feel?
I mean, their GM came out today and said, we tried. Like, we didn't even receive a 7th-round pick for him, which to me is crazy. I don't understand how some team didn't just call them and be like, hey, we'll give you our 2022 7th-round pick.
Yeah.
Just to take a shot on the guy. Like, it makes me think, is he injury-prone? Does he have some sort of weird history in the locker room that we don't know about? Like, what is going on? Because Christian McCaffrey, the guy that got drafted 3 spots after him, just got broken off for over $100 million. And now the guy that was supposed to be the running back from that draft class is on the streets. Now, how long he remains a free agent, I don't think it will be very long, but
I'll give him till Thursday.
I think they're I think they're in full tank for Trevor or tank for Justin Fields mode at this point. I mean, they still have some nice young core pieces on that defense, but I just don't see them doing anything more than like 3-13.
Yeah. This is definitely going to be, with a lot of teams getting better this offseason, I think this is like a big indicator for like the Jags are now going to be the worst team in the league, undoubtedly.
And here's what's crazy though, is like that division's not very good. So if you get somebody like Trevor or Justin Fields and they're the guy, like they're the next Patrick Mahomes, that's your division for a while with that defense, because your defense will still be young. They won't have to extend Josh Allen or the corner they just drafted, which is C.J. Henderson. Like they won't have to extend those guys for a while. So if you get your guy in Trevor or Justin and you believe in him, you have potential in that division.
And they've got two really young studs at wide receiver too. So if they get that quarterback, I mean, they've got DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault. Like, heck yeah.
Yeah, the problem is if you look at their past draft picks, I think the last 7 years, none of them, their last first-round picks, I believe none of them are still on the roster.
Well, did you see that tweet where it was the guy who like was going through all his jerseys? It was like Allen Robinson, Bortles.
I was like, dude, like, come on. Like, that's just terrible luck. Like, okay, here, I just pulled up a graphic. Here are their last first-round picks since 2011. Blaine Gabbert. Currently, he's the backup for the Bucks. 2012, they had Justin Blackmon, who is suspended from the league and hasn't played since 2013. 2013, Luke Joeckel, offensive tackle. He hasn't played since 2016. 2014, Blake Bortles, now a free agent. 2015, Dante Fowler, who's now with the Falcons. 2016, Ramsey, and 2017, Fournette. But every pick between 2016 and 2017 are busts or not living up to their potential. So I don't know if they still have the same GM, but something's got to change in Jacksonville. Otherwise, the people aren't going to want to put up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but to me, I'm not going to hate entirely on these moves because what they're doing, and you alluded to it earlier, they're kind of keeping their cap free in the years to come because
they're doing exactly what the Dolphins did this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ngakoue and Fournette both had expiring contracts and were both looking for big extensions this offseason. So, like, getting rid of those guys will set them up to be financially stable in the years to come. So, I mean, yes, you got rid of a lot of talented players, but you got rid of an injury-prone running back and a guy who has very clearly for the past almost year said he doesn't want to be here. So and they got draft picks for him. So
my question to you is, where's Fournette end up?
I don't know. I've been trying to put that together, and I could see him going to the 49ers for cheap.
Dude, you want to talk about a crowded running back room?
Tevin Coleman, Fournette, Jerick McKinnon, and Mostert. I could also see him going to the Patriots. I can also see him going to the Eagles.
The Eagles is interesting, especially with Miles Sanders getting hurt. I think, obviously, you have to put the Bucks in there.
Yeah.
Think about Fournette on that offense. He changes the game. You're going to have to start loading the box, and Brady's going to have days to throw to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. There was another team I thought of earlier that I was like, I think the Steelers are interesting.
Yeah.
Have a two-headed monster with James Conner. And then there was another team. Who was it? I think Seattle's always in play.
Yeah. You know what I really like?
Who?
In division, Houston.
Thank you. Dude, that's literally who I was trying to think of this whole time. I thought of this at work. Dude, I mean, it's a perfect fit. The question is, will Bill O'Brien do it?
Well, it's a good move, so probably not.
Exactly. I mean, he's traded for a running back every year he's been there, I think, and they're always injury prone. Like it was Duke Johnson, Carlos Hyde, now it's David Johnson. Like, do Deshaun a favor. You got rid of this basically the best wide receiver in the league, And I mean, it would be nice to get him on a 1-year rental. I don't know.
Really crazy take here, but with Alvin Kamara missing days of training camp and what seems to be a contract holdout, do the Saints give Fournette like a really cheap 3-year deal and just ride with him?
No, if Fournette is not getting a 3-year. He's getting a 1-year, like $1 million. He's getting a Cam Newton type of deal where you're going to get ran into the ground for a year and then hope that you end up with a Melvin Gordon type deal next offseason.
I think you're right, but I was just throwing it out there, you know.
I think
Stuff I think about.
The Chiefs is interesting because you could have Clyde Edwards-Helaire as your like receiving back and like your third down back, and then you have Fournette as your goal line back, kind of like how LeGarrette Blount was with the Patriots a few years ago.
Yeah, he was.
Actually, breaking news. Speaking of the Chiefs, Andy Reid has agreed to a 6-year contract extension. Kansas City is finalizing a new 6-year contract with head coach Andy Reid and GM Brett Veach, according to NFL Network. That was 2 minutes ago.
I really like that they locked down Veach, but I thought
Andy was out the door.
Yeah, the assumption was like this might be Andy's last ride. Like,
so that is surprising.
I guess that's not true.
6 years. I mean, that's more than half of this that's literally half of this contract Mahomes just signed.
Okay. Weird thing is like, so I spent some time in Kansas City last summer.
Yeah.
And the rumors were that like if the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, Andy's done. Because it's like he's old. Like I think he's either almost in his 70s or in his 70s.
So he's
a big guy too. So walking around the field in the hot summer sun, that's not easy for him.
Not as old as I thought he was. He's only 62, and Bill Belichick is 68.
Oh, that's what I was saying. I was like, one of the older coaches is 68. That makes sense. Well, Belichick needs to retire too. So if I can get him out of there, I will. That's crazy though. Obviously this is going to be Andy's last deal, but like whether he makes it there, I don't know.
No, I don't think he will. I think he's going for this dynasty. I think he's going for let's get these next 3 to 4 years, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
And I would bet you anything that Eric Bieniemy, isn't that their offensive coordinator? I bet he stays, and I bet he becomes the new head coach.
Nah, dude, he's gone.
We've been saying that for 3 years, Ryan, or 2 years at least.
He's okay. Honestly, though, if he's not okay, position like of top head coach candidates, it's Eric Bieniemy #1, and then Robert Saleh of the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. Those guys should be the first off the board next year, and like.
That's what we think until somebody like Lincoln Riley or somebody like that wants to come from college, and then they end up in Jacksonville because that's definitely who's going to need a new head coach. You ready to move on a little bit?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the recent signings before we backtrack?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do the more recent news, and then we'll jump into the stuff a little bit later.
Well, what seems to be the best defensive back – well, no, not the best defensive back. The best cornerback.
There you go.
Who is a free agent currently, just got signed today. Logan Ryan, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, is signing a 1-year, $7 million deal with the New York Giants. I really like it because I think – not to hate on a former Panther, but I think the Giants' best corner was James Bradberry. So I really like this move, putting Logan in the clear CB1, and then Bradberry is a nice CB2, which now I actually really like their secondary.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent for Bradberry for a second, but I was hating on him so much with Carolina, and then the more I think about it, he's literally going up against the 3 of the best top 5 wide receivers in the league every single time he plays in this division: Julio, Mike Thomas, and Mike Evans.
Yeah.
So like, how good is he if he's going up against like Jamison Crowder or Terry McLaurin, like people in his division? So I love this move. I hate that he didn't sign with Carolina because Carolina has been all week talking about how they want to sign a veteran corner, and then they let him slip away for $7 million for 1 year. I'm like, come on, dude. We just signed Eli Apple for more, but we can't sign Logan Ryan.
Yeah.
I like the move for the Giants though, and it's a former Patriot, which I don't know if Joe Judge was the coach there, but at some point,
Yeah, there is that connection also.
yeah.
Well, also because, Mike Vrabel is a former Patriot as well. So
True. Yeah,
there's all sorts of Patriot connections to this signing.
for sure.
But yeah, I'm honestly surprised it took him this long to get a job, but it seems like a great fit. Moving on to some of the former signings, Everson Griffin, who we all know as the beast defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings, is now with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have a good pass rush, but I think we made this joke a few weeks ago when the signing happened that this pass rush would have been undefeated in 2016, but now these guys are all getting pretty old, and it's
Exactly. Like I think the youngest guy is probably DeMarcus Lawrence, maybe,
yeah.
and he's got to be close to 30.
I think he's only like 26, 27.
Ooh, really? Is he that young? Oh, he's 28, but still, that's not that old.
Yeah, it's like
But
right
I
in the
think, like,
middle.
and I think the loss of Gerald McCoy, like, I think just his leadership in the locker room is going to hurt them.
Yeah,
But again, it's a good signing. It's just how much can he? It's like when teams were signing Michael Bennett, like a few years ago, and he'd come in for like 20 plays a game, basically, and get like one sack. It's like, can Everson Griffin return to form like he was with the Vikings for Dallas?
yeah,
Because if he can, that Dallas, I mean, here's the thing. We're going to find out if Jason Garrett was a shitty coach or not because this Dallas team is loaded on offense. Their defense isn't as good as it has been in the past, but it's still decent. And so, like, they should win this division. The question is it Dak or was it Jason Garrett? Like, that's the question.
yeah. I'm not a big Cowboys guy. We all know that. But I am very excited to, like you, see whether it was Garrett that's the problem or whether it's Dak. No, I'm not behind the whole Mike McCarthy hire,
I
but
think he sucks. He's
I'll let it
the Adam.
slide.
He's Adam Gase of the NFC.
And I thought of that. No lies detected. Well, Alex alluded to it earlier that talking about Gerald McCoy, the Dallas defensive tackle did tear. Was it his ACL?
One of those. It's either his ACL or his Achilles. I don't remember which one, but he's done for the season and probably going to retire at this point. I think he was 32.
Yeah.
He was bouncing around teams, and so I would expect him to retire.
Yeah, Dallas cut him following this. They waived him with the injury status. So
Yeah.
he's currently a free agent who's going to be missing all of 2020. So not looking so bright for Gerald McCoy, unfortunately.
Lamar Miller got signed to the Patriots. Cool. I don't think he makes the roster. I think he ends up getting cut before the season starts because they have currently I think they have 6 running backs on the roster, maybe 5. I mean, they have Sony Michel, James White, Rex Burkhead, Damian Harris, and now Lamar Miller. I think Lamar Miller's the short man or the short stick, basically, and he's going to end up getting cut, especially the reports out of camp are that Damian Harris might end up with the starting job, which is just crazy to me, but okay.
See, I could see them maybe cutting or trading cutting Burkhead or trading Sony Michel. Because what I've heard is they're not very.
Nobody wanted Fournette, but somebody's going to trade for Sony.
Sony's a tad younger than Fournette, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Is Sony younger?
Well, I just assume he's younger because he was in the draft class after Fournette.
Yeah, but he has the knees of a 95-year-old man. He's 25, and
that's Nick Chubb.
Fournette's 25 also. So, I mean, damn, that's crazy. But I just don't think he ends up making the roster. I think he'll sign somewhere, but I just don't think it's with the Patriots.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I mean, we could talk about the safeties.
Yeah, lots of safety news over the past month. The New York Jets traded away their best player, Jamal Adams, to the Seattle Seahawks. They got a first round pick and they got a first round pick, Bradley McDougal, and a few other picks in there. They got a haul. It's like it was borderline like Seattle got fleeced a little bit.
I'm looking it up. No, the Jets got 2 first-round picks.
Was it 2021 and 2022?
Yeah, so the Jets traded Jamal Adams and a 2022 fourth-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for Bradley McDougal, a first-rounder and a third-rounder in 2021 and a 2022 first-round pick. So they got Bradley McDougal, 2 first-round picks, and a third-round pick.
Yeah, so not only did you just slightly downgrade, well, no, it's a pretty big drop off.
It's a pretty big downgrade, but
you got his replacement. Like Bradley McDougal is like he's a serviceable safety. Like he's not like
he's
some
a
bum off the street.
Sure. Trust me, Carolina would take him. I think our starter is Jeremy Chin. So I would gladly trade McDougal. I mean, personally, I think it's a win-win for both teams. I would lean towards the Jets, I think.
Yeah.
Just because, well, it depends on who they draft. Again, get Adam Gase the hell out of the building. What are we doing? And for the Seattle, they think that they're good enough to make a run, and he's a huge defensive player, obviously. It's just, I don't know. I think the Jets won, but slightly. I don't think it's like a huge margin or anything.
I think the Seahawks overpaid, but I think it's going to set them up for a lot of success, especially in that tough division that they're in. I mean, now their secondary, like Shaquille Griffin, Quadre Diggs, and now Jamal Adams. Like that's a pretty nice.
I mean, my motto is always trade for the known commodity instead of the draft picks because you know what you're getting in Adams, where you don't know what you're getting with these 2 first rounders. And you made a good point. I remember when we were talking about this when it happened. Is that Seattle sucks at drafting first-round draft picks.
Horrible.
They're terrible.
Horrible.
They always draft that guy that should have went in like the 3rd or 4th round with the number 1 pick.
L.J. Collier.
I mean, whoever they drafted this year, I don't even know who he was predicted to go in the 3rd round, and they took a linebacker. But
Jordan Brooks.
Exactly. See, but I don't know. I'm not high at all on Seattle. I think they're going 8-8 at best.
Really?
Ryan, I am so down on Seattle. It's unbelievable. Here's the thing. They won 9 games last year by less than 7 points. You don't do that 2 years in a row. That and no home field because you're not going to have fans, especially not in Seattle. You're not going to have fans. So that 12th man's gone. If anything happens to Russ, I'm sorry, Geno Smith you're the worst team in the league, and welcome to town, Trevor Lawrence. Like, not really.
They're going to draft Trevor.
No, of course not. But they'd trade that pick, which wouldn't be awful for them. But if anything happens, if Russ goes down at all, they're done. The season's over.
But, I mean, that's a big if. And, like, while he's on the field, they also have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson. Like,
no offensive line, no defensive line.
Their offensive line is going to be
and their defensive line, since they don't have Clowney anymore, like, they're in trouble, I'm telling you. In that division, I'm just saying.
I mean, I could see it, but, like, I still think, especially with the playoffs, like, reaching out to 7 teams, I think they might sneak in there still.
Okay, true. But we are doing our predictions for our divisions, I guess, next week. But a little sneak peek, I have them coming in 3rd. So, what's the other corner? Oh, speaking of a former Seattle Seahawks, Earl Thomas was released after getting in a fight with rookie. His last name's Clark. I don't know his first name. I think it's Chuck.
Chuck Clark.
After getting in an altercation with him during practice and everything that happened this offseason with Earl Thomas, he has been released and is now a free agent from the Baltimore Ravens. So, honestly, I'm shocked he hasn't been signed yet. Yeah. I think it happened a little bit over a week ago. And I think it's a huge loss to the Ravens.
Yeah. Like definitely a huge loss to the Ravens, especially, like, because this City and be that Super Bowl contender.
Exactly, bro. Like, I think their starting safeties are both rookies.
Chuck Clark's not a rookie. He's been in the
not,
league for a few years. Yeah.
yeah, but he's not good. So, like,
I mean, yeah, he's not great, but
I mean, you're going for Earl Thomas and Chuck Clark. That's not great. The whole reason the fight happened was because Chuck Clark missed a read. But at the same time, he was showing up late to practice almost every day or late to Zoom meetings. It looked as if he was a cancer to the locker room, and they were like, we're not going to jeopardize what we have going here. Get the hell out. What do you think? I mean, what landing spot are you looking at?
well, all our Dallas friends are, crying a river because it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But with the injury of Derwin James in Los Angeles, I could see that as a really nice replacement on a one-year deal. Give him like 1 year, $6 or $7 million. Like that's a good spot.
Is Derwin out for a long time?
They said it's substantial. Like it's going to be a few weeks. Like
he's literally the best safety.
Oh, here it is. It just came out. Breaking news. Derwin James needs surgery and is out 6 to 8 months. That's the season.
Whoa.
That's 2 seasons in a row that this guy, I feel so bad. This guy has like oodles and boodles of talent, and this guy's career is going to get derailed because he can't stay healthy.
You know who he reminds me of? I think it's Keanu O'Neal for the Falcons. I think he's torn his Achilles 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah. But he's good too.
Oh, he's 20. Derwin James is 24.
Yeah. He hasn't played since he got
drafted. I genuinely think if Derwin James never got injured, he'd be the best safety in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean with how young he is and how talented he is, like he's definitely top 5 easily.
That's a huge blow for them.
Well, there it is right there. I mean, I expect Earl Thomas to be playing to the Chargers by Wednesday.
He must have blown out his knee because it says he's expected to have knee surgery and be out 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it his knee last time? No, it was his Achilles, right?
Something like that. But like, dude, this is crazy. I feel so bad for this guy.
I hope he can get back on the field because he's an absolute beast.
Sheesh.
That's crazy. Speaking of him, I mean, he did get injured earlier in the week, as we're talking about right now, and now it looks like he's out for, I guess that would be the entire season, right? Unless they go to a deep playoff run.
I don't even think that. I mean, if it's anything past 6 months, that's missing the entire season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's done for the season, which
that's insane.
That's a huge blow for them. And now that you said it, they should sign Earl Thomas.
Whew.
The question is, do you want to bring him into your locker room? I don't know.
I think for 1 year, I mean, like, well, I see both sides. Would you be happy
if the Bills signed him?
No, because we have 2 underrated Pro Bowl caliber safeties.
Hypothetically, let's say Jordan Porter tears his Achilles yesterday. Would you be happy if Earl Thomas got signed?
Knocking on wood.
I said yesterday because it didn't happen. So would you be happy if Earl Thomas got signed today?
I would like it from a talent standpoint, and also like I feel like the Bills, and this is me being a homer, but I feel like the Bills have.
I agree with you. They're the right kind of locker room.
Good enough culture.
Yeah.
Because that was the big concern with Diggs. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, he's a diva," and I was like, "Well, like, our culture is so strong that like I think that like,
dude, he's gonna have like a career year. I'm telling you right now.
I don't even know if he will, but like because we have so many offensive weapons, because I think he's gonna get doubled down a lot, and then like somebody like Cole Beasley or John Brown's gonna be left wide open.
Yeah, John Brown's gonna score 7 touchdowns. It's gonna be ridiculous. What else do we have to talk about? Alex Smith has returned, but it looks as if he's no threat to Haskins as of right now. Which, I mean, the fact that he's even practicing is a miracle. So, good on him.
Did you see that ESPN documentary that they put out a few months ago?
Yeah.
I am so happy for him that I can't even like express. Like it's that from what he's had to battle through this past almost 2 years. Like it's insane. Like anyone else would have retired and packed it in. Like it was over. Like
he's not young. He's like 32.
Yeah, I think he's 35. I think he's older than that.
Oh, see, yeah.
Like, he's dedicated. I think he could still start in this league, and God forbid anything happens to Haskins, like he's in there. And like
I don't
I
know.
really like.
I think Kyle Allen would be in there.
I mean, either way, I mean, I think he's a good. I think honestly, the football team should keep 3 quarterbacks. That felt so weird to say. Can I just pause? That was stupid.
I mean, it is what it is, man. Until they get a new name, it's the Washington Football Club. That's what I'm calling them. I mean, I know
that
that.
sounds a little bit cooler than the.
Why
football
isn't
team.
it? It should be. It should be the Washington Football Club. It shouldn't be. I guess because soccer, but still, it shouldn't be the Washington Football Team. That sounds weird.
Remember, like 2 months ago, when we were like, certainly they'll have something by the time the season kicks off.
They got nothing.
Looks like we're rolling with a big golden W for
Yeah, they don't even have a logo. I guess we can talk about the 2 extensions that happened with your team, your head coach.
Yeah.
Tackle.
Very exciting news on my end. A few weeks ago, the Buffalo Bills re-signed Deion Dawkins, their starting left tackle. I think to a 4-year, about $60 million deal.
Yeah, I think so.
Which puts him at about $15 million, which is like, I think it makes him a top 10 paid left tackle, but like he deserves it. He's solid, and he's definitely been, a brighter spot, especially in years like 2018 when our offensive line was just crap.
Sure.
But he's a young guy that we want to keep around for a long time, and I'm really glad that we got a deal done because we've got other guys like Matt Milano and Trey White who are knocking on the door. So getting that out of the way before the season starts was very nice. Moving on to the other person you mentioned, we locked down our head coach Sean McDermott to, I think he's now signed through 2024.
Yeah.
Which was honestly huge because in 2017 when he was hired, his whole pitch was, give me 5 years and I will turn the Buffalo Bills from a laughingstock, which is what we've been for the past 20 years, into, a consistent playoff team, a Super Bowl caliber team. And, now heading into his 4th year as the Bills head coach, we have a dark horse Super Bowl contender.
I don't think you're that much.
No one's really talking about it. Not as many people are talking about us as like they should be, man. I'm telling you, we're going to come out of left field for a lot of people.
Unless Cam Newton is truly going to perform like an MVP, which he'll have to carry that team, there's not a chance y'all don't win at least 10 or 11 games and go pretty deep in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. But, I don't think we're getting enough love because there are teams in the AFC like the Ravens and like Kansas City.
That's it. And so, if y'all can snag one of those 2 home field advantage spots, even if you just get it for the first round, nobody wants to come up to Buffalo. Probably going to be the Barstool Stadium. Nobody wants to come up there. I knew I could have got a reaction out of that, but it's probably going to come up in there and play in like 8 feet of snow. Nobody wants to do that. So if you guys can make Lamar come up there and he has to run around in the snow,
that's a W.
Yeah, you're winning. But, I mean, it's either going to be Tushy or Barstool. What do you think?
Okay, between those two, well, they just announced it for this season until they figure something else out. It's going to be Bills Stadium, which I don't love, but I don't hate either.
I looked it up while you were talking to make sure that somebody didn't accidentally snag the new name. Do you think there's any way that they let Barstool have that stadium?
I don't see why they would because, okay, the president of Barstool, I don't even know, is Dave Portnoy, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Why do you want our naming rights?
Like a diehard Patriots fan.
Yeah. Like, he came to Buffalo. He was like, this isn't, like, the crappiest town I've ever seen. It's all right, and the food's good. So, like, good on you, I guess. But, like, I don't want him to be, like, our naming rights partner. And the Tushy thing, that was just a waste of money. That whole campaign, like, no one really, like, thought to tell the guy running that campaign that, hey, this is kind of dumb.
It's like some porn company has been trying to buy the rights to the Miami Heat stadium for, like, 10 years now. And Miami just won't give it to them. Like, they offered, like, it was something ridiculous. It was like $200 million or something, and Miami said no. Because it was going to be like Pornhub Stadium or something like that. And they were like, yeah, we're not having a giant logo on the side of our stadium that's for that. But I don't know. I just figured
that's insane.
I don't really have any other news, so I figured I'd wrap it up with that unless you had anything.
Well, I was just going to mention the the extensions of George Kittle and Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I completely forgot.
I think, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to report. I mean, those guys just got paid very deservingly, I should add. Kittle is, I don't even know the numbers. I want to say it's around 75 mil.
I think Kittle got 4 years, 75 million, and then they didn't release Kelsey's.
But Kelsey's was long, and which is that was kind of crazy to me because Kelsey's kind of old.
Was Kittle's long? Somebody's was longer. Hang on.
Actually, Kelsey's might have been only 4 years.
Kittle's
might have been 5.
I think Kittle's was okay. Kittle's was 75 million over 5 years, and Kelsey was according to Sports Track, he signed a 4-year, $57 million contract extension.
What was the number?
4 years, 57 million. Wow, he got.
Where are the Chiefs getting this money?
Bro, like truly, did they like rob a bank? Because they extend Mahomes, and then they extend Kittle. Now they just signed their head coach. I mean, not Kittle, Kelsey. Now they just signed their head coach to a 6-year contract.
And Chris Jones.
And at the beginning of the offseason, they had like $5 million. So where
I'm starting to think like the salary cap just doesn't exist.
No, I think that I think they've pushed all these contracts so they don't start for like 3 years so they can just release everybody. You think there's
Mahomes is going to be out there playing with a bunch of rookies in like 3 years.
Yeah, it's going to be like Mecole Hardman's of the world. It's going to be whoever can run the fastest, and that's it. Just we're going to send you out there.
Yeah.
100%. I like both these moves. Honestly, the tight ends, I think it's smart to lock down the Kittle the Kelsey and Mahomes connection for a little bit longer. The Kittle one I think is huge because right now their number one wide receiver is Brandon Ayuk.
Deebo Samuel?
No, Deebo's out. I'm sorry. I don't even think they have. Ayuk's hurt too with a hamstring injury. So I don't know if you've been paying attention to it, but like they've been bringing in like wide receiver after wide receiver for like workouts. I think they just signed Kevin White. No,
do you remember Kevin White?
Yeah, from West Virginia. The dude I thought he was going to be a god, and then he ended up sucking. Okay, so wow, this is their depth chart right now. So they just signed J.J. Nelson, but he's also on the IR. Kendrick Bourne is their number one wide receiver right now.
He's a stud, though. Don't sleep.
Okay, relax. With Deebo and Ayuk. Ayuk is listed as questionable. Deebo's listed as out. Then they have Trent Taylor and Tavon Austin. And you're right, they did sign Kevin White. They also signed Sean Poindexter.
And River Crackift?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good for them right now.
Not to toot the Bills' horn, but we have a pretty deep wide receiver room. So I could see them going after somebody like Robert Foster, who looks like he's not going to make the team.
I'm shocked they haven't called Carolina and offered something for Curtis Samuel because
dude, that would be a perfect landing spot.
He's been on the trade block all offseason, and they still haven't traded him. So
I don't know why, though. That offense would be dirty with White, Anderson, and Samuel. And not White, Moore.
I was like, who the hell is White? Yeah, I mean, it would, but like also, I mean, it makes no sense to me to trade him because Joe Brady runs 3 wide every single time they come out. So why would you do that? But he has been on the block. I thought he was getting traded draft night.
Yeah.
There were a ton of rumors that he was getting traded on draft night.
Do you know who I was thinking about you guys? I was thinking you guys need to sign Delaney Walker. That makes no sense.
They believe heavily in Ian Thomas.
I don't understand. But
for some reason, Bridgewater believes incredibly heavily in Chris Manhertz, who is nothing but a blocking tight end. Like, he used to play fullback. And apparently Teddy Bridgewater has had him, like, stay after practices, and they've worked on routes for, like, 3 weeks in a row. But I mean, again, Carolina's going to have one of the best offenses in the league and one of the worst defenses. So
It's not that bad. It's just young.
It's bad. The defense. I mean, I think Jeremy Chin is going to start as our starting free safety, and that's concerning.
You were excited though when you drafted him.
I'm excited, but he's not ready to start, especially not on a brand new team. Here's the thing: everybody's brand new except for DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, basically. The oldest guy on the whole team is Trey Boston, and he's 29.
That's crazy. That is insane.
Even our kicker, Graham Gano, who was in his 30s, just got cut for Joey Sly, who's 20. Like, everybody is being cut, unless you're super young. So they're really – actually, Teddy might be – no, Teddy's like 27 or something like that. So, I mean, it's insane. But I don't know. My prediction for them you'll get next week. So I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger, you know? It's not nearly as bad as you think it is.
Not as bad as the Jags.
Well, no, the Jags are literally going 2-15. Like, they're going to be terrible.
That's generous.
No, I don't think they go 0-16. Their defense is too good.
They have like Josh Allen. That's it.
Josh Allen's good. No, they have Miles Jack. They have I mean, that's pretty much it. So,
yeah,
you know.
it is, sir.
I don't even know who they're
CJ Henderson, if he's good.
Who?
CJ Henderson, the guy they drafted. If he's good, we don't even know.
I don't even know who their running back is now.
Right. Oh, they have Chris Thompson from the football team.
Oh, true.
And Raquel Armstead, who was a rookie last year.
Pick them up in fantasy yet? Do I need to?
Okay, here is what I was thinking. Devontae Freeman on a one-year deal to the Jags? ?
I don't hate it. The question is,
pay Devontae like $3 million.
Why are you giving these people so much money? You just said that Fournette needs 3-year contracts. Devontae Freeman is signing for the veterans minimum if he signs.
Fournette's young, and because the Seattle Seahawks almost gave Freeman turned them down because it wasn't enough money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing that's going on with Clowney right now, where you're not going to end up getting signed. At this point, with Clowney, his agent needs to just go, what are you waiting on? Like, what? Because his value just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. And this is I'm starting to think, just sit out. Say you're sitting out because of COVID and just sit out a year.
I still do not hate him coming to the Bills. I don't think it's likely at all, but I would still bring him in.
I'm going to Google his name right now. Let's see if there's been any news. I don't think there's been anything.
I think the Titans and the Seahawks are the biggest front runners for him.
The Seahawks have already backed out. So, okay. This is one day ago from 24/7 Sports. I don't know if they're worthy of anything, but I think they are.
Yeah, they're pretty credible.
Okay, well, apparently 2 teams have come out. Let's see who they are.
Probably Cleveland.
Reported last week, Clowney will not budge on his asking price despite having offers from multiple teams. So apparently he has offers, but he will not budge from around $17 million a year. Apparently the Raiders and the Browns have both offered him $15 million a year, and he won't.
Oh my god, dude, he's holding out over $2 million.
By the way, he played for $15 million last year with Seattle.
This guy's an idiot. Okay, so Yannick Ngakoue just got paid $17 million for this year. Would you rather have Yannick or would you rather have Clowney?
I mean, you're not going to like my answer, but it's Yannick. Yannick's 24. Clowney's 28. And
no, dude, I totally agree with that.
Okay.
I would take Yannick all day, every day.
I would much rather have Yannick. I think Yannick is more of a pass rusher than Clowney. I think Clowney's more of a run stuffer, even though he's a pass rusher. And Yannick's 4 years younger. So I would have given Yannick 20 a year if he would have asked for it. I think a dark horse to sign Clowney is Carolina, but I don't think they'd ever come up to $17 million. So I genuinely – I think he'll end up signing with somebody. He'll end up signing with the Browns. He'll take one of those offers before the season begins.
Well, the clock's ticking, man. I don't think many people are going to sign him next week because next week's all preparation for week 1. So it's pretty much got to happen this week.
If my choices are Vegas and Cleveland, I think I'm picking Vegas. But at this point, like, how long do you wait before you pull your offer out? Like, I would feel insulted. I offered you 15 million and you want 17. It's been over a month.
My
Nobody.
thing is, like, he didn't have, like, he was good for Seattle, but he did not have, like,
I'll look it
an
up.
end-all, be-all season.
I don't even know if he had double-digit sacks. I could be speaking out of my ass right now, but let's see.
I mean, he did get doubled a lot, but, like, I think you're right. I don't think he got double digits.
Wait. Okay, he played in 13 games in 2019 with Seattle. He started 11 of those. He had 1 interception. He had – wow. Okay, maybe we're wrong. He had 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 10 – oh, no, hang on. How many sacks? Oh, he only had 3 sacks, though. You only had 3 sacks?
See, to me, that's like maybe like 14 million worth.
He had 3 sacks and 6 tackles for loss. And he's begging for 2 million more. Like, come on, dude. At that point, your agent needs to step in and just go, stop, my guy.
Well, what he does is, because, I mean, like, it's not like he doesn't have those skills. Like I said earlier, he gets doubled a lot. So what he does is he actually frees up, like, you know, opportunities for the defensive tackle or opportunities for the other defensive end, you know, like, I don't know. But 17 million is a little hefty, especially if it's going to be like a 1-year rental. Like, if you're going to leave after that, no one wants to give you 17.
No, that's literally why Seattle said no. We'll give you 15, and he said no. So
honestly, though, I'm 95% sure that the Raiders have the money. So if I was the Raiders, I would just throw them the extra $2 million and get them to shut up, because that instantly makes them like way more of a contender.
I don't know. I think if I was the Raiders, I'd offer him like a 3-year contract with worth like 50 million.
And also Cleveland too. Like, I mean, that could make them like skyrocket.
Imagine Garrett on one side and you have Clowney on the other. Who are you doubling?
That's ridiculous. And then they've got pretty good defensive tackles too. They got Sheldon Richardson and somebody else I can't think of.
Like, at that point, that's why Cleveland needs to find that extra $2 million and get that deal done, because that just makes their defense nasty. And in that division, you need a good defense.
Especially because their linebacking core is so weak. Like, you need like that pressure off the defensive line. I don't know.
I'm very excited for next episode when we get to break down the divisions.
Me too, man. I'm pumped.
But other than that, you got anything for him?
I don't think so. It was good catching up with you guys, and I'm glad that we got to be back in the swing of things. And we'll be coming at you next week with less than 10 days till the football season. Next time we talk to you guys.
We record next Monday. We'll have 3 days, people. So, all right. It's been real, guys. Thank you. Have a good rest of your week.